Hello, peopleses! Today we find ourselves in a renovated Stronghold library because I want to talk about the new bookshelves. So this is the chiseled bookshelf. It's going to be coming in 1.20 and it has pretty simple functionality. You get a book, you put the book in the thing. I think this is pretty simple. This is what they should have been like beforehand. However, I do think that they can use a bit of tweaking. So obviously my first suggestion, right? I think you should be able to put the books in out of order. Like if you notice, right now that I put them in, I put the first one in, right? And let's say I want to put this last one in. Oh, it puts it all the way up there. Well, that's okay. Let me try again. I want to put it in here. Or what about here? No? Okay, so yeah, it always puts them in an order, and same when you're taking them out. Like if I want to take out the first one right now, I can't. It always takes out the last one. I think you should be able to put them in and take them out of order, just because one, it adds more variation of textures that you can have, and two, it adds a little bit more redstone functionality, which I'll get into later on. Another thing I've noticed is that, so if you see these regular old bookshelves we have over here, you can see the little letters flying in with the book. So the more bookshelves you have around an enchanting table, as everyone knows, the more levels. See, I'm getting a level 23 enchant. That does not carry over with the newer bookshelves, no matter how many books you have in them. Like, look, there's 6. Let's fill up the bookshelves. I guess I placed those with MBT data. But, yep, those are all filled, and it's still 6. It's the base level enchanting. Do I think they should function exactly like the other bookshelves? No, I do not think they should function exactly like the other bookshelves. See, these cost twice as many books, despite these looking like they have more books. But still, I think that these should be used to more or less manipulate what type of enchants you're going to be getting in the enchanting table. So like, for example, if you put a bunch of Silk Touch books, maybe the possibility of you getting Silk Touch would be higher than getting other types of enchants or stuff like that, and you could manipulate it by combining different types of books. Maybe it only takes into account like 3 bookshelves, something like that, I don't know, so that you can combine it with these to also get the higher level. I think that would give it its own use without completely disregarding what the regular bookshelf does. Though, for being honest, the regular bookshelf should probably be replaced by this, but I think that would be a little bit difficult to implement without ruining people's builds. Since we're in a library, I should also mention it doesn't apply to this specific library because I already removed them, but the chests that are usually up here should also be replaced with these types of bookshelves, and maybe a few in here or whatever, just so that they can actually have the random enchanted book loots within the books. Instead of just, checking the chest and get out, you have to actually look through the bookshelves to find your loot. I think that would be better. Maybe it can also be applied for villages and I think pillager outposts, just other structures that actually have loot with bookshelves. Now my next few suggestions, if you'll follow me, have to do with the redstone functionality, which I have a room set up here. The way it works as of now is you put it in and it gives a redstone signal. Now it looks here like it's based on how many books are in it. However, it is technically based on which book you interacted with last. So right now it's giving a power signal of strength of 6 because I interacted with book 6. I took out book 6, put in book 6, it stays as 6. Now if I take out 6, then take out 5, it's going to go to 5. If I put 5 back in, it stays at 5 because I'm interacting with 5. Same goes all the way down. Now this has an interesting property where it only ever gives a signal strength of 0 when you've never interacted with it before. So as you can see, when I came in, none of the lamps were on. But since the last thing I took out was book number 1, it's giving a signal strength of 1. See? It stayed the same. I like this. I think it's more creative than just having it as full because we already have that with a bunch of other blocks. However, I think it's a little bit less useful than it could be because of the fact that you can only put the books in order. Like imagine if I could immediately put in book 6 and it gives all the way the 6 signal, I think that would be better, especially if because the example I gave during Minecraft Live was somebody taking out a bookshelf and the bookshelf moves out of the way, the secret bookshelf doorway. But if you want to make that work with like this specific book, you have to also take out like 4 books before taking out that one, and then you get the signal strength of 2, you know? Instead of just getting, boom, the signal strength of 2, and there you, I'll fill you back up. But yeah, I think that would make it a little bit more useful when it comes to using it as like manual input, especially since also you technically have 6 different manual inputs from like one block, so practically making it kind of like a keyboard. Maybe it's overpowered, I don't know, I just like the idea. Now here is a bunch of redstone functionality I would like to see added, but really doesn't work right now. So as you can see, this hopper's full of books. This thing is not filling up. It's half full, it has 3 books. It's also not giving any books to here. It's not, they're not, the hoppers just don't interact. So there's no way of automatically putting books in and taking books out. Not even with dispensers. See, it's full of books. It's going straight into the hopper because it's pushing it into the block. And I forgot to give myself a pickaxe. All right, I definitely went and grinded a netherite pickaxe and didn't just go into creative mode. But as you can see, I removed the hopper, and when you press the dispenser, it just pops the book out. It doesn't put it into the bookshelf. I think you should be able to actually put things into the bookshelf. That way you can automate it with redstone and it's not just a manual input. And my second suggestion, now this is a little more difficult because they've mentioned that they don't want to add movable tile entities because they don't want to break redstone. However, I think they should, but that's a separate thing. The thing is, this is a new block. Nobody has builds with a new block. They could totally do that for Java, but it doesn't work at the moment. You can't move bookshelves. To make it a bit more creative and a little bit maybe less technically taxing for actually coding, maybe when you move it, if it has books in it, it should just like pop them out because, well, I mean, it's an open bookshelf. If you're moving it around, books are gonna fall off, you know? I don't know. I think that would be funny. Like, yeah, you can move it, but then it's gonna be an empty bookshelf and all the books will be like here on the floor. And that pretty much sums it up. I think the bookshelves really do have potential to be one of the better features in 1.19, but they do feel a little bit incomplete now. What do you think? What would you like them to add to the bookshelves? Or do you think they're fine as there is? Let me know in the comments. But yeah, like and subscribe, I guess. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.